Hi there, this is Fixed It. A friend's son was really pleased to get this radio controlled car for his birthday with all the flashing lights on. Really quite impressive. What he didn't realise was that his little 1-year-old brother would absolutely love it too. But unfortunately, like most 1-year-olds, if they get hold of something, they tend to kind of pull on things, and unfortunately he's snapped off the aerial. I mean, luckily they managed to get it out of his hands before he hurt himself, so he's fine. Unfortunately the aerial snapped off right at the base, so I'm going to have to do a fixed it repair. Now there's obviously no point in me putting on another solid steel aerial like this, because it'll just get snapped off again. So what I'm going to do is to do something different. As this remote's operating at 49 megahertz, the aerial itself is roughly about 43 centimeters long. So what I need to do is to create a 43 centimeter aerial, but considerably smaller and shorter, one that can withstand the handling of a toddler should he get hold of the remote again. I found myself some copper wire, but equally this could be a coat hanger, and I've cut off 43 centimeters. I'm going to wrap it round a 1 centimeter rod, and so it'll make a small helical aerial that'll sit there. I'll then solder it into the existing point. So that's the 43 centimeters of wire wrapped into an aerial, and now I just need to take the lacquer off the end here, and then what I'm going to do is to dismantle this and get access to this aerial socket. So I've opened up the remote, and I was just checking all the buttons. In fact, one of the buttons is also pretty much dead, so I'm going to replace that, and then I'm going to deal with the aerial. The aerial is a cheap bit of brass aerial that's held on by a single screw here, so I'll unscrew that, and then I'll solder the coil onto this piece. And what I've decided to do, rather than go inside it, this thing's going to wrap around the outside, so in fact the whole of the metal piece will be holding it stable, rather than it just resting on a single piece of wire that again could equally snap. So I've made the coil and I've soldered the brass end on, and then what I'm going to do is to screw that in place and test it. Okay, here's the modification, and I've also changed this switch, and I've just given it a try out with the car, and it works absolutely brilliantly. So I've fastened the aerial in place. I've used some polymorph rather than heat glue, so I just heated a few beads of that using a hairdryer, and when it got soft I pushed it in place, so that's firmly and rigidly in place. I've replaced this switch. This one was completely knackered, so this switch is now working. I also took the opportunity while I was there to replace this rather old and tedious LED, and as you can see, I've replaced it with a multicoloured LED, which is in line with the car, so that's really good. And I've just been testing, it's all working. After a little more testing, I decided to fill this coil full of polymorph, which is quite easy. I just rolled up small balls and then used a screwdriver just to force it down the end, and added polymorph here, and that makes the whole thing quite rigid, because otherwise you might be able to bend that over, so that makes it more rigid. Now I'll put on some heat shrink tubing. So the car's working great, so I'm pleased, and that's a pretty robust job. That's not coming off in a hurry. And then there isn't this long spike in order to poke the young child in the eyes or to snap off again. So I hope you like the video. If you do, please give it the thumbs up and consider sharing it with others. And if you've got one of these stuck in a cupboard somewhere and the aerial snapped off, now you know how to fix it. Thanks for watching the video. Bye.